They say family businesses are built on trust. But mine was built on polished lies, glass chandeliers, and smiles sharp enough to cut through bone. I wasn't just betrayed by my blood. I was erased by them. Stay till the end, because silence isn't surrender, it's the beginning of justice. My name is Jonathan Hale, and for 32 years I believed loyalty was the currency that held a family together. Especially my family, the Hales, owners of Grand House Resorts, a polished empire of luxury hotels stretching from Chicago to Miami, New Orleans to Seattle, New York to LA. We were the American hospitality dynasty. Golden reputation, flawless PR, and a family portrait that looked perfect enough to hang in the lobby. But beneath the chandeliers, behind the walnut conference tables, under the velvet drapes, our empire was built on something darker. And I was the only fool who didn't know it. Grand House wasn't just a brand. It was a performance. My father, Richard Hale, was the visionary CEO, tall, silver hair, handshake like a politician, patriarch of the empire. My mother, Catherine, played the refined socialite, pearls, charity galas, perfect posture. My sister, Nicole, was the prodigy, perfect GPA, Harvard business degree, public favorite. And me? I was the one who actually built the future of the company. While Nicole mastered optics, I mastered operations. While she spoke at panels, I rebuilt departments. While she posted filtered photos, I redesigned our entire digital infrastructure. Revenue systems, guest experience tracking, cost algorithms, staffing optimization. Half the rise of Grand House from old luxury to modern empire came from tech that I built myself. But for my family, perception mattered more than contribution. Nicole was the face. I was the function. And function is replaceable. Growing up in hotels meant life was always staged. I learned to tie a tie at 7. Learned to stand straight at 12. Learned to shake hands and speak politely before I learned what trust meant. I was groomed for corporate life before I even knew what childhood was supposed to feel like. Nicole thrived in that world. She glowed under the chandeliers, smiled perfectly for cameras, spoke with rehearsed elegance. I was the apprentice, the fixer, the quiet one. Every Christmas our gifts came wrapped with brand messaging. Every birthday party was a PR event. Every family trip was disguised as a site inspection. Grand House didn't just consume our family. It was our family. Or so I thought. It happened in Chicago, the flagship property, the pride of our empire, a 54-story glass tower casting its reflection onto the Chicago River. The Hale Executive Summit, a yearly ritual where we reviewed performance, expansion plans, and future leadership positions. I came prepared. Numbers polished, new models validated, investor interest documented. Because this year, I wasn't just presenting progress. I was presenting my promotion. I had earned it. 14 years in the company, hundreds of system upgrades, millions in cost savings, employee satisfaction through the roof, record-breaking occupancy rates. Everyone in corporate expected it. Whispers floated everywhere. Jonathan's finally getting the COO role. He deserves it. He's the backbone of this company. I believe them. That was my mistake. I stepped into the Chicago ballroom. Chandeliers glowing, waiters gliding past with champagne, branded banners towering overhead. My mother's eyes flickered to me with a smile too tight to trust. Nicole's posture straightened like she was preparing for a photo op. My father stood center stage, microphone in hand, voice booming across the hall. Tonight, he said, we name the future of Grand House Resorts. My heart pounded. This was it. He gestured toward the crowd. The next chief operating officer, the leader who will guide Grand House into the next generation of luxury hospitality, is. He paused. He smiled. He looked straight at me. Then he turned slightly and placed his hand on Nicole's shoulder. Nicole Hale. The applause exploded immediately, planned, rehearsed, synchronized. Like they all already knew. Because they did. Everyone did. Except me. I didn't clap. I couldn't. My throat tightened, my vision blurred, but my mind stayed painfully clear. I looked at my parents. My father's expression was triumph. My mother's relief. Nicole's victory. That's when I understood. This wasn't a business decision. It was an erasure. They weren't promoting Nicole, they were burying me. And they didn't even have the dignity to warn me. As applause filled the hall, my phone buzzed. One message. From Nicole. Don't make a scene. Cold. Sure. Practiced. Like the betrayal had been planned for years. After the announcement, guests swarmed Nicole with congratulations. Cameras flashed. Champagne popped. PR reps gathered quotes. I stood alone at the edge of the room, the forgotten son of the empire I built. My father approached, drink in hand. Don't take it personally, he said. It's business. Business. The word stabbed deeper than betrayal. You don't disown your own blood and call it business. Unless you never saw them as family to begin with. Later that night, they invited me to a private dinner in the executive suite. The same suite I renovated, the same suite I installed the new digital key access for, the same suite I grew up walking past like it was a symbol of the future. My future. When I entered, the lights were dim. A long mahogany table. 3 empty chairs. And one envelope placed neatly at the center. My mother gestured toward it. Sit, Jonathan. I sat. My father folded his hands. We want you to take a step back, he said calmly. You've been overwhelmed, burned out. You need rest. The envelope contained the real blow. A new contract. Demotion. Pay cut. Reduced authority. Mandatory leave. And relocation to a secondary property in Denver. Far from headquarters, far from investors, far from decision-making. They were exiling me from the company without calling it exile. I read the contract twice. Then again. I'm not signing this, I said. Nicole leaned forward with the confidence of someone who believed she owned the room. You don't have a choice, John. Those 6 words burned deeper than every betrayal combined. It wasn't about leadership. It wasn't about strategy. It wasn't about corporate fit. It was about ownership. Years ago, my grandfather left shares to me, shares that vested only once I reached a senior executive position or contributed significantly to the operational development of the company. I had done both. If I became COO, the shares would be legally transferred into my name, giving me voting power equal to Nicole's. They needed me out. And they needed me out before the shares activated. This wasn't a leadership decision. It was a takeover. A bloodless coup. I did not yell. I did not argue. I did not beg. I simply stood up and pushed the contract back toward them. Thank you for dinner, I said quietly. Then I walked out. Their expressions froze, because they miscalculated something important. I wasn't reacting emotionally. I was thinking strategically. If I had learned anything growing up in a hotel empire, it was this. Every betrayal leaves receipts. And they had left plenty. If you want to destroy your enemies, don't fight them out loud. Fight them with silence. While they celebrated Nicole's promotion, I spent nights digging through what they left behind. Emails, contracts, board minutes, payroll reports, compliance filings, internal audits, employee complaints, contractor invoices, expense accounts, vendor relationships. Betrayal is never clean. It always leaves fingerprints. And my family? Their fingerprints were everywhere. Grandhouse had been inflating expenses for years. Nicole's team had been greenlighting vendor kickbacks disguised as renovation costs. My father had been approving hidden executive bonuses funneled through shell entities in Nevada. My mother's charities were being used as tax shelters. Hundreds of documents. All time-stamped. All verified. All illegal. And all traceable. But here's the part they truly didn't see coming. They used my algorithms to hide it. The system I built. The infrastructure I created. They used my tools to commit fraud. Except, they forgot something. My tools reported everything to an encrypted backup server tied to my original administrative login. A login they never knew existed. The truth was preserved in the very system they used to erase me. 3 weeks later, I requested a performance review presentation at the Grandhouse Chicago headquarters. Something routine, something harmless. They approved it without hesitation. When I walked into the boardroom, my father looked annoyed. My mother looked uncomfortable. Nicole looked condescending. I connected my laptop to the screen. Nicole smirked. Are you here to argue your demotion? No, I said. Then I clicked play. One by one, documents filled the screen. Vendor kickbacks. Hidden bonuses. Tax shelter transfers. Illegal reclassification of assets. Falsified audits. Emails approving everything. Their signatures. Their digital trails. Their timestamps. My mother gasped. My father's jaw locked. Nicole went pale. I spoke calmly. For 14 years, I gave everything to this company. Slide. You used me. Slide. You stole my future. Slide. You lied to investors. Slide. And you thought I would walk away quietly. Slide. I turned to the board. I have shared copies of this evidence with all major shareholders, the auditors, and federal compliance officers. I also sent an encrypted package to the press, set to release if anything happens to me. The silence was holy. Not fear. Not anger. Judgment. From everyone in that room. Except my family, who finally understood what it felt like to be powerless. I stepped back. "This is not revenge," I said. "This is accountability." Then I made a request. "I want full execution of my grandfather's shares. I want a seat on the board. And I want immediate removal of the executive team responsible for these violations." My family. The board voted. Unanimous. My father was removed as CEO. My mother removed it from the foundation. Nicole stripped of her new COO title and suspended pending investigation. By the end of the meeting, security had collected their badges, access cards, and corporate devices. And for the first time in my life, I watched them walk out of a room without power. Grand House Resorts entered a restructuring. I was promoted to interim COO. The company issued statement after statement about internal leadership transitions and compliance updates. Nicole tried calling me. My mother sent emails. My father tried threatening legal action. None mattered. Sometimes the best revenge is not loud. It's letting the truth do the talking. 6 months later, after the audits, the reviews, the settlements, and the full internal investigation, the board met again. This time without my family. I stood at the same podium where Nicole took my future away. The chairman smiled. "Jonathan, the board would like to officially appoint you as the new Chief Executive Officer of Grand House Resorts." I didn't smile. I didn't triumph. I simply breathed. Because this wasn't revenge. It was balanced. The company I built finally recognized the person who built it. The justice was clean. Silent. Absolute. A month later, I visited the Chicago flagship, the place where my betrayal began. As I walked through the marble lobby, guests checked in, staff moved gracefully, lights glowed gold against the glass walls. My hotel. My empire. Not theirs. I rode the elevator to the top floor, the same executive suite where they handed me the envelope meant to exile me. I walked inside. Set a clean, empty envelope on the table. Sat down. And breathed deeply. For the first time in my life, silence didn't feel like defeat. It felt like power. They wrote me out of the family. But I wrote them out of the empire. Not with rage, but with proof. Because betrayal doesn't destroy you. It shapes you. And sometimes, it builds an empire far stronger than the one that tried to break you. This story pulled you in? If you felt the betrayal, the silence, the power in the end, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts below, share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and help us reach our next milestone, 5,000 subscribers. Collision. This story was brought to you by Betrayal Nation. Visit our channel daily for more real, dark, emotionally gripping betrayal stories from across the world, especially the United States.